founder of YSL who lives in the Atlanta area, is he charged on this indictment?
He is not.
Was that your decision?
I did not draft the indictment.
So a founder of YSL is not charged. I wonder why. I wonder who this guy knew at the DA's office in Fulton County. Day 26 of the Young Thug YSL RICO trial was extremely entertaining. Defense lawyers get to cross-examine Detective Belknap, who has been investigating YSL for over 10 years. Brian Steele is able to give tweets and pictures added context that the state didn't want the jury to see. Yeah, Brian Steele kills it today. He does a really good job. He even gives the detective homework and makes him look kind of dumb and makes it look like his investigation was not thorough in front of the jury. It's pretty interesting. Hit subscribe. Here we go. Got a first look at Thug today. He's got a nice brown suit on. Hasn't really shown him at all on the stream. Shannon Stillwell's lawyer. Let's get it for cross-examination. Here we go.
The social media of Christian Eppinger, are those posts that you were following and you collected as part of your investigation?
Some of them are, yes.
Did you pull those posts or did someone else pull those posts for you?
I believe I pulled some of those posts and some were pulled by other people.
Who were the other people that pulled posts?
I couldn't tell you specifically.
Who gave you the posts?
They were not given to me. They were part of this demonstrative for the jury.
Okay, who sent you the posts? Did the district attorney's office send you these posts?
I'm trying to make sure I'm answering your question. They created the demonstrative that was used in the jury, but I was not sent the individual post.
Okay, so the district attorney's office created your demonstrative that included those posts and then asked you to talk about them in court.
Well, I don't believe it's my demonstrative.
Okay, their demonstrative.
It's a demonstrative that was used during my testimony.
Okay, I think we get the idea. The alleged Jeffrey Williams social media posts on Twitter under the name Young Thug. Did you pull those posts?
I did not.
Who pulled those posts?
I don't know who specifically pulled those posts.
Who gave those posts to you?
Again, the posts themselves were not given to me, but they were compiled into the demonstrative, and that was shown to me by the state.
Okay, so the state, when did they show you this demonstrative?
I honestly don't remember specifically when, sometime over the last couple of weeks.
So over the last couple of weeks, you knew that you were going to come in and testify?
I did.
Okay, and the state prepared a demonstrative and showed it to you?
That's correct.
Bolded words in those posts, correct?
I did.
Do those bolded words tell you that whomever pulled the post searched all the posts for specific words?
There were bold words in the tweets, which means they searched that on Twitter.
Probably tell me that was a search term, but as far as what they were searching, the second part of your question, I don't know that I could determine that just from that.
So someone in the district attorney's office Twitter for keywords such as shoot and blood and slime, correct?
Again, I don't know who actually performed that search.
Okay, did you ever go back and...
So he's making the DA look shady right here in front of the jury.
Who gave you the picture of Mr. Stillwell and Quentin Porter?
That was part of the social media post I reviewed from the state.
Okay, so the state pulled that and then gave it to you in preparation of you testifying.
Again, I don't know who pulled the picture, but the state was the one who provided it to me.
Okay.
YSL investigation would have been 2013.
Your investigation of YSL over the last 11 years or so, that would include an investigation into the structure of YSL. Is that fair?
I don't know if we necessarily investigate the structure. That's not necessarily the object of the investigation, although structure is one of the things that's uncovered during an investigation into a street gang.
What about, it would include investigating suspected members?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and it would also include investigating deemed common identifiers of YSL?
Yes, it does.
Have you investigated traditional gangs before?
Yes, sir.
Those rituals could include being beaten into the gang, correct?
That is correct.
Isn't it true that in the 11 years that you've been investigating YSL, you haven't found any specific requirements or initiations required for people seeking to claim YSL?
No, I have not.
Okay, you're not aware of any beating in?
I would want to refresh my memory before giving you a final answer on that. I believe we have had some situations in our schools where some students were beaten and said that the beating was to join YSL.
Children?
Yes.
Okay.
Children in schools getting beat in for YSL, but...
Do you have any evidence that any individuals here today were involved in any beatings?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Someone that wants to claim YSL can unilaterally declare themselves a member. Isn't that true?
I do not believe that's true.
I think he's trying to get the point across that anyone can be YSL just because of how popular it is. Apparently Thug and a lot of the guys at the top of YSL didn't even really know a lot of the guys that got indicted with them. Like they never met them before. Like it was like several people.
In your 11 years of investigating YSL, isn't it true that you've, to your recollection, never seen a book of knowledge for YSL?
So I have seen several books of knowledge that came out of the Department of Juvenile Justice.
Children?
Juveniles, yes.
Okay. In your investigations, when you're investigating people that you feel are members, you personally, have you seen books of knowledge?
I have not seen books of knowledge.
Okay. Consequences for false flagging. Wasn't that your testimony yesterday?
That's correct.
Okay. And examples of those consequences would be what?
Typically, it's going to be an act of violence. It could be a beating. It could also be ultimately death.
That is Mike Anderson, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I believe you testified that, in your opinion, he is a gang member?
Yes, he is.
And what gang is that?
He's a member of ABG and Sex Money Murder.
Okay. In your expert testimony, he is not a member of YSL?
No, sir.
Okay. And the state asked you for an alias of Micah Anderson yesterday. And what was the alias you gave?
Hola, playa.
Doesn't he also call himself, and people call him King Slime?
Yes.
So now they're muddying the waters more, which is what any good lawyer would do, and pointing out that someone else associated with all this is called King Slime. So now the jury's gonna be like, wait, so when they say King Slime, are they talking about Thug or this guy? Like, it just makes them question that in their head even more now.
Which individual is Mr. Fernando Crenshaw?
He would be the person on the right.
Okay, is that the person wearing the beads without a shirt on?
That's correct.
Do you know Fernando Crenshaw to go by a nickname?
I do.
What is that nickname?
YSL Mondo.
Mondo. Believe that Mr. Crenshaw, Mondo, is a YSL member.
I do.
Okay? In your investigation, did it reveal that, and to your knowledge, he was a founder of YSL?
He does claim to be a founder of YSL.
Is Mr. Crenshaw still alive?
He is.
Does he live in the Atlanta area?
He does.
This founder of YSL who lives in the Atlanta area, is he charged on this indictment?
He is not.
Was that your decision?
I did not draft the indictment.
So a founder of YSL is not charged. I wonder why. I wonder who this guy knew at the DA's office in Fulton County.
Was it, to your knowledge, the district attorney's office under Fani Willis who drafted this indictment?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Was it the district attorney's office that drafted this indictment?
To the extent that I can testify about the district attorney's office's business, I believe it was.
So what he's hinting at is that Fani Willis was Mondo's defense lawyer in 2019, and he's coincidentally not charged. Isn't that f***ing crazy?
Mondo has ever been represented by Fani Willis.
Objection, relevance.
I stand objection.
Judge isn't gonna let him bring up Fani Willis at all. Hell nah, judge ain't doing that.
I have no further questions.
So the defense has to show where we've misinterpreted the particular tweet that we introduced.
The defense want to show tweets for context to the jury. She is arguing not to let them do that to the judge right now. She doesn't want the jury to see those tweets for context.
Which tweet it is that will explain or clarify the tweets that we put in. What it appears that defense counsel is going to do, Your Honor, to say that that completes the story or completes that particular tweet, and it does not.
So after a 2-hour-long break, we come back.
The web, that came up in your direct testimony.
He did.
Is that a house?
It is.
And the address is, do you know the address?
I do.
What is the address?
I believe it's 2539 Brownsville Road.
Okay. And that's a freestanding house?
I believe it is.
Have you been there before?
I don't recall.
So you're not sure if you've ever been to this location before?
That's correct.
How do you not know if you've been to this house and it's the YSL trap? Why is he saying I don't recall? That motherfucker just don't want to get caught lying that he's been up in there before or something. Hey man, he was up in there planting all the they never sold free these boys. I'm joking.
So as you sit here in court today testifying to this jury, you cannot name any individuals who have been arrested for selling drugs at 2539 Brownsville Road.
Arrested there, not off the top of my head now.
Okay. And certainly you can't give any dates.
No, not without reviewing.
Did you see Snoop Dogg perform at the Super Bowl?
I did.
In front of over 1 million people?
Yeah, I did.
And he did, in fact, crip walk to a cheering crowd?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Has adopted these gang references. You would agree that that is, in fact, a multi-billion-dollar industry at this point, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, vagueness.
I sustain it as a form. You can
The
rephrase it.
popular music industry that has adopted these gang references, you would agree that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, still vague.
I sustain the objection.
Some in the music industry have accepted the gang influence in popular music, yes.
There's 6.5 minutes already.
And
Come on, let's wrap it up.
The judge rushing him saying, you got 6.5 minutes already, wrap it up. That's crazy. Legendary Brian Steele is up, boys. Here we go.
You said specifically that a human being showing a crip walk or a C or a gang component, identifier, that's what you use. You said that that's unfortunate that that's being shown at the Super Bowl. Is that fair to say? And if I misunderstood you, just correct me.
The community at large recognizes is that criminal street gangs are bad. They're bad for society. They're bad for their victims. They're bad for the communities that are plagued by them. They're even bad for the members themselves. At some point in many gang members' lives, they realize that. Many of them step away from that life. To present gang identifiers in a way that could be seen as positive, I see them as negative for society as a whole.
Kind of a based answer.
Nothing illegal about me going on the Super Bowl halftime show and doing this with my hand like a C is what I'm trying to do. Is that true?
There's nothing illegal about that.
That's a good point from Brian Steele. It's not illegal to be throwing up gang signs and shit. It's just illegal when you commit crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Going on the halftime show at the Super Bowl next weekend, or this weekend, I guess, and doing something like that, like a B, right?
There's nothing illegal in that act.
And the fact that you find it, and I'm not criticizing you at all, but the fact that you find it, my word is repugnant, that's the difference between America and, like, let's say, Russia, right?
No, sir, it isn't. And I also didn't say that it was repugnant.
That was my word.
It was, but you're misrepresenting my testimony, and I do not believe that that's the difference between America and Russia.
Well, let's break that down. In America, would you agree with me, and Georgia, people have the right to expression. Is that true?
It absolutely is true.
On Mr. Eppinger's Facebook or social media, how many photographs he has that he has posted or someone posted with Jeffrey Williams?
I don't recall seeing any posted pictures of him with Jeffrey Williams.
Really good point. Trying to really hammer it home in the jury's head. SLUG doesn't know him like that.
Do you know that other persons have access to Jeffrey Williams?
The good old rapper move where they say their manager manages their social medias. They're trying to do that in the Wine to Be Melly trial as well.
I don't know who all has access to Mr. Williams' Twitter account.
Well, did you read his tweet whereby he says that my management does my tweets with me?
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis.
Hearsay, self-quotation.
I sustain the objection.
Ooh, he was trying to sneak in a tweet for context like he wanted to.
How many Twitter postings on Jeffrey's Twitter account? How many times is Mr. Eppinger in any way mentioned?
I'm not aware of any tweets mentioning Mr. Eppinger.
And Thug tweeted a lot about other people, but not Eppinger specifically. The past few days of this trial has been about Eppinger, a lot of the violent shit he's done, but he has no connection to Thug. Now, if they had pictures together and he had tweets about Christian, like I'd be like, ugh, that's not a good look. But there's nothing. There's none of that. There's just that video of Trontavia Stevens screaming blat, driving down the road, smoking a joint.
What did Mr. Stevens do that was illegal?
I don't believe this video contains any specific illegal act.
Now, the fact that he used the word blat,
Another video, I believe, of SLUG just filming people in the block.
and you told the jurors on direct examination that homie is a gang term?
I did not say that, actually.
Okay, what did you define homie as?
I said the word is often used within gangs, but is used outside of gang culture as well.
You testified to this jury that you know what slime means. Remember that?
I did.
And you testified that slime, you never heard, meant slug, love, I, me, everyone. Remember that?
I remember, I think you're misstating the testimony.
Tell the jurors.
Well, I don't recall exactly what the question and response were either, but I don't believe that was the testimony.
You're aware that on that Twitter account, there's a song called Slime.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay, self-quotation, a violation of the rules.
I sustain the objection for that this
Are
time.
you aware that there's a song called Slime by Ola Player?
I don't believe that I am.
Are you aware that there's any song where there's a lyric, slime is slug, love, I, me, everyone? Are you aware of that?
I'm not.
He's trying to make this detective look dumb, that he's never heard this song where he says slime is an acronym for slug, love, I, me.
Would it help you if I played the song to listen to the words?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness assessment does not know the song.
I'll play the song.
You can play a song for me if you want. Son.
He's gonna let him play the song?
Did you hear that, detective?
I did.
Okay. Now, when you gave your testimony yesterday about you've never heard anyone describe slime in the way you just heard on Mr. Williams number 142, did you ever do a Google search?
No, I did not.
Did you know that question was coming?
No, sir.
But you never bothered to Google music?
Well, no, I didn't Google it because in my experience investigating this gang for a decade, we have quite a trove of information about the gang, what these words mean to them, including clothes that they wear, that Mr. Stevens wears, that other members of the gang wear, as a definition of slime on the actual clothing.
Okay. Did you miss that as well on the Twitter account that you were testifying about? And when I say that Twitter account, I'm talking about Mr. Williams' Twitter account.
Did I miss what?
So Steele's just a master class of a lawyer. He's just poking holes in his testimony. Does he testify that slime is this word that represents YSL and it's like a negative word, and that means slime people, like fuck them over? Steele's pointing out in lyrics that it says otherwise. So it's going to get the jury thinking and get them probably a little confused, if you ask me, but...
I, me, everyone. You didn't see that?
I did not see that posted on the Twitter account.
All right. The tweets that you pulled out were one line by, I think you stated earlier, by a word search. Is that your understanding?
I don't think that was exactly my testimony. It does appear based on there being a bold letter in the tweet that it was done through a word search. I wasn't there for that process, nor am I testifying about what that process was.
Well, you knew you were going to testify about those tweets, right?
I did.
So I presume that you looked around for the context of those tweets before you got on the witness stand and raised your right hand, right?
I wouldn't say I looked around for that context. As I said previously, we were monitoring his Twitter account even during this time period and watching tweets come in.
I wonder what he thinks right now that this is all this is about tweets right now. They showed a tweet from July 1st, 2012. Now this defense is showing this tweet. Seriously though, to progress, we got a hashtag stop the violence. And I think that's why the judge let him show it, because it was the same day as the other tweets. So he's putting context in front of the jury that he was going to this concert to stop violence, pretty much.
I do.
Now, you mentioned that photograph on direct examination yesterday. Do you recall that?
I do.
And that is Mr. Walter Murphy, right?
Yes, it is.
And he's also known as DK, right?
Yes, he is.
Is right. And this mixtape is a true definition of where I came from, and then ... nothing. And that's a play on the title of the album, right? Or the mixtape, right?
It does appear to be yes.
Talking about music, right?
It appears to be yes.
Okay, the next one, same date, the tweet reads, Mr. Williams' Twitter, turn nothing into something today, correct?
Yes.
That's an inspirational saying, would you agree?
Sure.
Okay. And also a play on the mixtape, I came from nothing, right?
Yes.
Seriously, though, to progress, we gotta hashtag stop the violence. You see that?
I do.
You were unaware of that when you were telling the jurors yesterday about the importance of these tweets, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then the last one on this page, of Mr. Williams, number 43, says, same date, Chattown, we here for the, what's it, hashtag Stop the Violence campaign. And were you familiar at any time about the Stop the Violence campaign and concert that occurred on July 1, 2012?
If you're asking about it any time, I don't remember if I was aware of it in 2012.
You were aware that this was in response to Trayvon Martin getting killed and other people?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Asking if he's aware.
Objection.
No, sir.
You were aware that Trayvon Martin was killed earlier that year, February.
I wouldn't have recalled the year exactly, but I couldn't dispute that's the time frame when that happened.
Do you realize that it's all about music?
Objection, Your Honor. Still going speculation in the speaker's mind.
I'll stand objection.
Do you know, as you sit here today, don't speculate, that it's all about, all these tweets are about music?
Objection, Your Honor. That's the same question. But he's telling not speculating. He wasn't speculating.
I stand objection.
With SMM, we having a baby. Remember that?
I do.
I'm in love with SMM. We having a baby is the line in a song.
I don't recall knowing that it was a line in the song, but I wouldn't dispute that it is.
Why didn't you tell the jury yesterday that that tweet is, in context, a quotation from a song?
And also objection, Your Honor, to the question because only one person said it's in context.
Brian Steele poking little holes in the testimony of the lead detective of this whole thing.
Okay, so that is simply, stage 34W is simply a song lyric.
No, sir.
You remember that?
Yes, sir.
And this is February 5, 2013, fair to say?
It is.
And all these are Mr. Williams' tweets, or his Twitter account, right?
Correct.
All right. And you talked about the words, don't worry if I'm shooting as long as you get shot, right?
I did.
Now, were you aware when you were testifying yesterday that the two tweets before this tweet were you aware what they were?
No, sir.
You were now?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Were you aware that Mr. Williams' 3 consecutive tweets, including this one, were tweeting out Lil Wayne songs,
Objection.
lyrics and songs?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, these are Lil Wayne lyrics. This is good for the jury to see that some of the tweets they showed yesterday were simply just lyrics to songs, and they didn't really look into it. They just searched up shit on Twitter, found shit that looked incriminating, and showed it to the jury.
Hearsay, it would be out of context. You don't have to date any of those tweets.
He said it's hearsay out of context. It's literally what they did. They showed tweets that were hearsay out of context lyrics.
They're the same exact day. They were immediately before. I'm putting it in context. And Mr. Williams' Twitter account wrote, is the auto-tune on with all these question marks? You see that?
I do.
All right. And are you familiar or do you know that that is a lyric from Lil Wayne's song called Ice Cream?
I don't, but I wouldn't dispute that it's true.
Okay. Do you want to hear it?
No.
To ensure that it's true.
Gotcha, Mr. Steele.
Okay. The next tweet is one, and then there's a hyphen 900, hyphen who, hyphen want, hyphen it, hyphen I, hyphen deliver, and then 2 exclamation points, if I read that fairly. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Same date, right?
It is.
Immediately before the tweet that you spoke about to the jurors yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
And do you realize that that is a Lil Wayne lyric of a song also in 2009, Ice Cream?
I'm not, but I wouldn't dispute that it is.
About don't worry if I'm shooting long as you get shot. That's the third one in the sequence, fair to say?
It is.
And that one, do you know yesterday when you testified, that is a Lil Wayne song called Banned, B-A-N-N-E-D.
No, sir.
You didn't know that when you testified?
No, sir.
No one told you?
No, sir.
The state didn't share with you these lyrics that I gave them?
They did not.
I like the YouTube video and it gives the Jump site and then Young Thug Rock Crew, Curtains featuring the real crew, right?
Yes.
And you're familiar, are you not, that Curtains is a song?
I am.
Okay, you didn't tell that to jurors yesterday, did you?
Well, I wasn't asked about that.
Okay, that's fine. You would have told them if you were asked, right?
Yes.
So here's Thug's Tumblr page.
And in this picture, there is nothing illegal, right? People making gang signs, which you identified yesterday, wearing a red bandana around the face of that gentleman in the center back.
Yeah, I don't believe this picture captures any illegal activity.
Okay. It promotes the photographer or videographer, whatever we want to call that person, right?
Yeah, in terms of a shout out, it does.
You went through that entire Tumblr account to educate yourself for your testimony for the jurors, am I correct?
No, sir, this is the only post from this Tumblr account that I've reviewed.
You didn't look at all of Mr. Williams' Tumblr accounts?
No, sir.
How do you know to review this one picture?
Well, when the state asked me to review these particular tweets, this is one that was linked within one of the tweets I was asked to review, and I was asked to review this post from that link.
You weren't curious to know what else is on that Tumblr account?
I was not, no.
Just making this detective look like his investigation wasn't thorough.
Since you come back, I'm inviting you to look at it if you want to. But every one of those posts has to do with music. Do you realize that?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
Objection.
Do you know, as you sit here, what all the other Tumblr posts deal with?
Objection.
Basis.
It would be speculation because you said he has not.
I stand objection.
If you come back, I'll call you if you need. I want you to review all that Tumblr, okay?
Sure.
Account. And then you tell the jurors everything else that's on that Tumblr account, okay? Sure. And tell them if it has anything other than music or...
Hold up, he said he's gonna call him? That's crazy. Calling the state's expert back up. Giving him homework assignments is insane.
What is wrong with using terms like, where my blood grow at Believer? What is wrong with that?
So again, I have not been asked to testify about something being right or wrong, nor do I believe that's been my testimony.
And when I say right or wrong, I'm not talking about morality.
Mr. Steele's just pointing out that all of this is perfectly legal, his tweets. Kind of pointless because I don't think the state was just showing them for gang affiliation, not whether they were illegal.
What's illegal about that?
There's nothing illegal about that specific act.
And if you want people to follow you and get behind you of your character, that you're a gangster rapper, and you have to promote that hard, and you're fearless, and you won't back down, what is wrong with putting that out on social media?
Oh, he's going for the whole, it's still like a gangster image thing. But what Brian Steele's doing is adding context to tweets that they showed and showing the jury that a lot of them were promotion to music, keeping up with the gangster image, and just outright out of context with like song lyrics and shit.
This says, "Where's my strap?" Right?
It does.
And that wasn't put there by you, right?
It was not.
And for all you know, and I'm not saying you know definitively, but for all you know, that was part of this video.
As far as I know, it's part of the video.
Okay, so somebody wanted to stress the fact that they were looking for the gun, right? All right, and then he's going to go back into the house and come out with a gun. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, you see that child?
I do.
And who is that child?
I don't know who that child is. I don't know who the parent of the child is.
And were you aware whether the videographer or somebody thought that we need to have a child do that's a gang sign with a gun, right? Did you see the child do the gang sign?
It's a compound question.
A standing objection.
This is a marketing tool, would you agree?
Objection, speculation.
If you know.
A standing objection.
I don't really see this as marketing. I think this is them chilling in the hood and they had a baby throw this up for fun. Like, I know that's what he's trying to say in front of the jury, but I don't see that at all. I wouldn't be showing this if I were the defense, even if it's clearing up context. This video, it's not really a good look. All right, that's pretty much it. Brian Steele kind of killed it. Gave a lot of context to the tweets, and the judge surprisingly let him do a lot today. Like, let him play that song and everything about slime. Like, very entertaining stuff. Hit subscribe on my Instagram. Fucking love you guys. Peace out.
Drink and hope